Hello the internet, it's your boy, SmithLockwood! You voted for this video, and therefore, this video is for you. It's the 50 Random Facts Challenge. 50 Random Facts! And to celebrate this miraculous undertaking, I will be giving away one of these sensual, sensational SmithLockwood t-shirts. To win this t-shirt, you need to crack the conundrum of this video. It's called the 50 Random Facts Challenge, but I'm actually going to give you 51 pieces of information, and one of those pieces of information is not a fact at all, but in fact, a terrible, horrible, awful lie. So if you want this t-shirt, it couldn't be easier. All you have to do is watch this video from the start to the end, listen to all 51 facts, and then in the comments below, point out which one you think is a lie. I'm going to give you all 3 guesses, but you can only make 1 guess per comment. So down below, all you need to do, leave a comment saying, I think fact number 3 is a lie. You can then do another guess. I think fact 21 is a lie, so on, so on, so on. 3 guesses per person, and the first person to guess the correct misinformation will win this. Simple. Let the fact flinging commence. My middle name is Michael, which is also my dad's name. Adam Michael Smith. Lovely. I was a premature baby, coming in at 2.5 months early, exploding from the womb into the world. The doctor said I probably wouldn't live for very long, but I didn't really like the sound of that idea, so decided to stick around for a little bit and see what all the fuss was about. I did survive, believe it or not, but I had a hole in my heart until I was 12, and that caused a lot of problems for my health. At one point I was so ill, I was off school for 3 months and had to be home tutored. And I also had to go on a really crazy diet where I couldn't eat a lot of nice things like dairy. I had a milkless, chocolateless, breadless existence. But I'm okay now. And speaking of dairy, I now sneeze whenever I eat chocolate. Despite the home tutoring, I did actually go back to school, and I now have a lot of qualifications actually, including 2 degrees, one in English and creative writing and the other in teaching, AS and A levels in philosophy and psychology, and a part qualification as a counsellor. After college, I was offered a place at Oxford University, but I turned it down because I wanted to go to Warwick University instead, because it just seemed a little bit more modern and cool, and Oxford smelled a bit funny. As many of you will already know, I'm a singer in a band. If you want to check that out, we're called Speaking in Shadows. You can click or tap that right there and it'll take you to some of our beautiful music. But I'm actually also an English tutor. For a long time I taught at an A-level college, teaching A-level English and creative writing, and I'm now a one-on-one private tutor, teaching all kinds of people English-ness. I absolutely love all things language, but my favourite word of all is defenestrate. It means to throw somebody out of a window, and I'm just really amused by the fact that there's a word for that. I will defenestrate you! I consider myself a bit of a writer. I've got a lot of novel and story ideas kicking around that I'm half working on most of the time. And recently I've started writing poetry again and started to perform that. You can also check that out on this channel if you want to take a look. Click or tap that thing right there and that will take you to one of my performance poems. Over the years, my writing has been published in various magazines, newspapers and books, and I was also the editor-in-chief for an online magazine for quite some time a few years back. As a result of being a YouTuber and also being in a band, I'm now a little bit of a social media whore. You can check out all my social media in the description below. But actually prior to being in the band, I didn't have any major or mainstream social media to speak of. I went through school, college and university without having Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram. And it was okay, you know, life went on. My favourite soft drink is Dr. Pepper. And my favourite alcoholic drink is Recorderlig fruit cider. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to video gaming, as you can probably tell. But my most prized gaming possession is this Resident Evil 5 limited edition collector's watch. They made 555 of them, and I just so happen to have number 1. I once held a world record for over 9 months on Mario Kart on the Wii, where I had the best time trial on Maple Treeway. Good times. My favourite video game of all time was always a toss-up between The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy VII. That was until Breath of the Wild came out. It stole over 230 hours of my life, and also my heart. What a masterpiece. Speaking of favourite things, my favourite TV show of all time has to be 24, starring Kiefer Sutherland. Growing up, I bleated about it and watched it religiously, and I kind of maybe have a bit of a shrine to it in my bedroom. As you do. But despite watching a lot of TV and film, I have never actually seen a Star Wars film, or watched Grease, which I'm told are both crimes against society. Before I was a singer, I used to play drums in a couple of bands. And even earlier than that, I used to play the violin. Once on a spontaneous nighttime drive, I once drove around this roundabout 17 times in a row without stopping, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say is a world record. Because A, they've now put traffic lights on this roundabout, meaning you can't go around it consistently without stopping. And B, I'm not sure that anybody else is stupid enough to waste that much of their time. My favourite album is A Better View of the Rising Moon by 1997. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, or I'm just not quite right in the head, but I've been skydiving, scuba diving, parasailing and kiteboarding, amongst other cool, extreme things. When I was a teenager, I broke this wrist when I flew off a scooter at high speed. But I didn't actually go to the hospital for 2 weeks because I hid the injury from my parents and tried to pretend that I was okay, until I realised 2 weeks later that I couldn't use my hand anymore and it was still really, really painful. Yeah. A bit of a shady one. I actually cheated in my GCSE French exam. No, it's okay. I didn't get caught. Une pomme le pan. Since learning to drive, I've picked up 2 speeding tickets and 9 parking tickets. Driving is an expensive hobby, ladies and gentlemen. As a young teenager, I filmed my own version of Jackass with my friends. I said I filmed my own version of Jackass with my friends. Oh, sorry. Thank you. I don't play many sports, but I do play squash. Hello? Useless. I don't really watch a lot of sports either, but I am partial to a bit of UFC and WWE wrestling. In fact, I even went to WrestleMania this year. If you didn't see the blog from that, why not click or tap there and give it a watch now? What's he playing at? What are you playing at? Why aren't you making the sounds? What are you even doing? What are you even messing? I love the smell of petrol. I suffer with IBS, which is a load of shit. Speaking of suffering, I once got my drink spiked at a nightclub, and I was found passed out in a toilet stall by a bouncer when the nightclub was closing, and he wasn't very sympathetic to my delirium and genuine feeling of illness. Nice guy. I'm currently teaching myself to play the piano, and though I've been a singer most of my life, I've never actually had a singing lesson. I found out that being in a band isn't quite as rock and roll as it used to be. Gone are the days of female fans flashing their boobs at you while you're on stage. Unless, of course, you're me and you're playing a girl's 18th birthday party and her 70-year-old nan decides to relive her youth and get hers out in front of the whole band and her horrified family. A pleasant memory. I have played a gig wearing nothing but my boxer shorts. Twice. I've also played a gig with a member of the Sex Pistols. The first time I ever played a live gig was actually in France when I played drums at a French jazz festival. When filming a music video on the beach with my band, I actually used an entire can of hairspray to make sure that my hair didn't move in the music video. 1 year, during the 2-minute silence on Armistice Day, I once had explosive hiccups the whole way through and ended up in detention. I didn't mean to do it. I have a sister called Zoe, who is almost 9 years older than me. I know 2 other people called Adam Smith, and I'm fairly sure neither of them are me. I once achieved the highest possible score on Tetris, but the game doesn't end when you get that score, it just keeps going forever and ever and ever. So eventually I just sort of turned it off after a whole summer of playing it and pausing it and playing it and pausing it. I played Tetris so much that summer that I started to dream in Tetris blocks, which is actually a genuine medical condition called Tetris syndrome. I stopped playing it after that. I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, and I've actually eaten quite a lot of exotic meats in my time, including ostrich, kangaroo, bison, wild boar and zebra. I have never lost a game of Cards Against Humanity. My favourite song of all time is Father and Son by Cat Stevens. I've been knocked out twice in my life, both times whilst play fighting with friends. I do read a lot of books in my spare time, and my favourite authors include Martin Amis, Haruki Murakami, Irving Welsh and Stephen King. I once had 2 women who were complete strangers strip completely naked in front of me at my local park. And on a similar note, I am also the not so proud owner of 2 man thongs. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 50 random facts about your boy SmithLockwood! And 1 cheeky little lie. Did you figure out which one wasn't true? Embedded in this video is 1 singular sexy little lie that can win you this t-shirt. So down below, leave your comments. You got 3 guesses. Give me 3 comments. Let me know which ones you think are most likely to not be true. What is the untruth? Which is the falsehood? Which is the not fact? Let me know down below. Thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit about me. I hope you had fun. I know I did. And me. If you enjoyed this video, why not click or tap over there to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. If you're feeling particularly pleasant, share my channel with some friends so that my name spreads around a little bit. And of course, if you really enjoyed this video, be saucy and smack that like button so I know you've got a smile on your face. That's it for this week, but I'll be back next week with a new video. So I'll see you then. I love you guys.